But here's the catch. Constantly obsessed with, I reckon your parents have told you guys this, bettering yourself is self-care. Good afternoon, upgraders. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Grace, and here on this channel we help you upgrade in all sorts of things, including beauty, fashion, mindset, productivity, lifestyle, all sorts of things. Today I'm actually going to be giving you another upgrade video. So if you're not part of the family already, go and click subscribe right now, and then go and follow me on Instagram, because we get to connect so much more on Instagram, and you guys really get that kind of behind the scenes of my life and the upgrade and everything that's going on. And speaking of everything that's going on, if you do follow me on Instagram and if you are subscribed and you're not new to the channel, you guys, then you'll know exactly what's been going on lately for us, specifically for me. Been a pretty intense month so far, and it's literally halfway through December as well. But we're going to talk about something that really relates to what's been going on with us. It's definitely something that I thought probably didn't need talking about, as in I thought everyone did this, but I think after speaking to a few of you guys, what I consider normal everyday kind of self-care and like personal development, like I'm constantly obsessed with analyzing myself, knowing myself better, analyzing my emotions, the way I respond to things, how can I build a better character, how can I be a better person. I'm constantly going over my mindset, and I really just thought it was something that everyone does every day. But I'm realizing now that maybe we should actually be talking about that everyday self-care, and I do really mean every day. I mean the kind of self-care and mindset that you set for yourself when you're faced with the everyday obstacles and everyday tasks. So I'm going to talk to you guys about that today, and I'm going to share exactly my daily self-care tips. Now these are really specific to me, but I think that they could be very easily applied to a lot of people out there. So number one, also guys, Winston is joining me in here, so if you see him like running around in the background, don't worry, I know that he's here. He's just going to hang out with us. This one really relates to what's been going on with me lately, because I've had a massive influx of a lot of people reaching out to me, and just a really big increase in the amount of conversations and interactions that I've had to have with people, which is not normal for me, but it happens really often in our daily lives. So many situations where you can be faced with a lot of influx of people, and it can get really taxing and really tiring for you to try and manage all of those interactions. So my first tip, my tip number one, is to say exactly what you mean / need. Now I know that I'm not the most perfect example of doing this, because I tend to not do that. Before I speak, I really choose to think about the words that I'm saying, and I will very often change exactly what I want to say to cater to the other person or to communicate better, because I know that just blurting out what I want to say is often really not a good way to communicate to someone, especially if we communicate in different ways, aka me and Amy. But this one I do truly mean, especially in this situation. I had about 100 phone calls, and I had flowers and gifts and texts and messages on Instagram and messages on Facebook, and I had calls from unknown people, like numbers I didn't have saved. I just had a huge influx of people immediately wanting my attention and to engage with me, and I needed to cut down all of those interactions and just communicate exactly what I wanted or what I needed. Now this isn't me giving you guys an excuse to just be mean and just say off the cuff really like kind of abrasive things. That's not my point. But my point is, when you're feeling overwhelmed like that and you still need to communicate to people, then just cut things down. Don't add in the fluff. You don't have to overthink things. Tell people exactly what you mean and tell them exactly what you need, and people will understand. So I think that's a really, really good one that a lot of people could implement in their life to make things a little bit easier and to do a bit of self-care when you are feeling overwhelmed. Also guys, I'm wearing my oversized gander jumper. You guys know these guys. I'm obsessed with their clothing, and this is one of my favorite jumpers. It's just the color of it, guys. I don't know what it is, but it's like this stone washed blue, and I just think it like is just very much my vibe. Anyway, back to tip number 2. And this one is really cliche, but let me explain it, so stick with me. Self-care, usually quite soft and generous and kind to yourself. This one might not be, but I really include it in my everyday kind of thing for self-care, because I believe pushing yourself creates better character development. So my second tip is to push your boundaries. Now, when I say this, I genuinely mean push your real boundaries. So I think a lot of people, when they hear things like push your boundaries, boundaries or step outside of your comfort zone or try something new. They like go try workout class that they've been thinking about doing for the last couple months, or they send the text message that they've been thinking about but they wouldn't really normally do it. They're like, all right, I've just got a bit of courage today and I'm just going to send it. That's great. And I encourage you to keep doing those things, but that's not the boundary I'm talking about. That's a comfortable boundary. That's a boundary that without really that much work, you are able to overcome. I mean, push those boundaries that you are hard on. So maybe it is posting something on social media that you normally wouldn't. Okay, I mean, never would. Like a bikini picture. That's the kind of boundary I'm talking about pushing, the ones that you genuinely would not normally push. Maybe it actually is a bigger one. Maybe it's something like leaving your current job, something that you thought you would never do because you're too frightened or too scared of uncertainty. Then that's what I'm talking about. Those hard lines, those hard boundaries. That's where the character building is. That's where the mindset growth is. Now, don't stop doing those everyday ones because they're perfect practice rounds for when the big ones come up. And hear me when I say that. I want you to keep doing those everyday ones. It's like working a muscle at the gym, that constant repetition, and you get more and more comfortable with that uncomfortable feeling so that when the big one comes up, maybe this is the actual time you're able to overcome it. It doesn't have to be perfect and it doesn't have to work well. Maybe you leave your job and then 2 weeks later you come back to it, but you still overcame it. There's no loss there. Maybe you didn't get the desired result, but look at exactly what you gained. Some serious life skills, really pushing yourself as a person and learning about yourself. I think those are the kind of boundaries that we should be encouraged more to push. Okay, now my third tip for everyday kind of self-care that you can do on the daily, situations that you're faced with all the time. This one's probably a little bit more similar to the self-care that most of us are familiar with. And this one is learn more about yourself. Like I said before in the other tips, I am constantly thinking about the way I communicate, the way I think, challenging my thoughts. Are they the correct way to think? Are they the way I want to think? Have I got a learned behavior there that I genuinely want to unlearn? How do I go about unpacking that? Learn more about yourself. Now, this one's really personal. You can do it any way you want to. I think a perfect example of this are athletes or people who really enjoy exercise. If you've seen an interview with an athlete on TV, they get asked a lot of questions and a lot of them aren't to do around their chosen specialty or around their sport. But when you see them answer the questions that are directly related to their sport or their performance, you will see them go on for minute after minute after minute because they could keep talking all day. Athletes spend years developing the one skill and they know themselves in that category so well. And that's the level that we want to be at. But we want to be an athlete knowing our self level across the board. Often if you feel really lost or confused, maybe you're at a really transitional period in life and you are feeling really unsure about things, then getting to know yourself more will help you be able to make those decisions when that time comes again. Learning exactly how you learn is one way. Figure out whether you're a visual learner, an auditory learner, maybe you're a practical learner. Figure out exactly how you communicate. Journaling is by far, in my opinion, the most outstanding one to learn about yourself. If you can learn the skill to just write the thoughts out of your head, it can give you a tangible thing to hold where your thoughts are and you can work through them. Learn things about yourself. And if you're feeling really stuck with figuring out how to learn more about yourself, mood boards. I swear by them. Mood boards. Who has ever been scrolling through Instagram and you've just seen a photo and it really spoke to you? You were like, yeah, I actually really relate to that. That's you learning about yourself. That's you identifying with something. Maybe it's a picture of a beach and a palm tree and the sand and the ocean. By seeing that picture, you realize that you have a really deep yearning to travel more. And without seeing that picture, you wouldn't have known. So I think creating mood boards are an incredible gateway into learning more about yourself. Okay guys, the last one, my tip number 4 is discipline. Now I know that a bunch of you guys are going to click away from this one or maybe zone out or not really stay interested because discipline is hard. But I know it's something that a lot of people struggle with. A lot of people aren't disciplined in their life. And this is an everyday thing to practice and constantly refine your skill at, to do some self-care. Bettering yourself is self-care. But here's the catch. Discipline is a learned behavior, not a born with behavior. Discipline takes genuine practice. Sometimes it's born out of necessity. So potentially maybe you have an extremely hard work ethic based on the fact that you had to have one to survive. It's still a learned discipline. You had to learn to do that. You had a choice to either not or work hard, and you did choose to work hard. I see so many people, especially on YouTube, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of really successful people constantly consuming information about discipline and how to discipline themselves more or how to be more disciplined in life. So a good tip for me, and I'm taking this back to basics, I reckon your parents have told you guys this one before. Who was allowed to eat dessert before they ate their dinner? Not me. Straight up, we didn't really have dessert all that often, but when we did have dessert, we were not allowed to eat it before our dinner. So when you apply that to your life, maybe it's in your daily life, you want to be more disciplined with your routine. Pick the hardest things out of your day. Pick 2 of them even, maybe even 1 if you're really struggling with this. Put it at the earliest point in your day. So if you're planning your day and you're planning on being really disciplined and productive, you've got so much work to do, you need to stay on task. Pick your hardest task and put it first. This is how I tackle my day. So when I'm learning to build my discipline, I will do it first, because you'll be incredibly shocked to see how more productive or how more disciplined you'll be when needing to repeat that behavior again if you've already accomplished it the first time. And putting it first in your day means it's the first thing you think about, it's the first thing you tackle, and it's the first thing you get done in your day. So sometimes even before 9 a.m, you've become already more disciplined with your day. And they are my 4 tips for everyday kind of daily self-care. They may not be the normal ones that you guys are used to, because I'm not doing my face mask and I'm not lighting a candle and having a bath. All of that kind of stuff is so important, but this is the daily stuff that I really do every single day when I'm faced with these situations that help with self-development, and to me, that's self-care. So I hope you guys liked this upgrade vlog. If you liked it, you need to message me and post in the comments down below, because I really enjoy talking to you guys and I want to hear what you think of them. If you guys have other everyday kind of self-care tips, leave them down below so we can all read them and learn about them. Otherwise, reach out to me on Instagram. I really like talking to you guys there too. We will see you guys on Thursday for another vlog. Bye.